Hey guys, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for serving with us this past semester. It has really flown by. Memories from back to school retreat are still fresh in my mind, and so it's hard to believe that we're coming up on Christmas break. And over this past year, Carl has shared Fathom Group's focus videos, and he's laid this vision before us to have increased partnership with our students. And it goes along with Asbury's mission statement of generously sharing our lives and the gospel. And so as we're going into this season of Christmas, we're going to have a break from our students that's going to be almost a month. And so in this video, I want to offer up some suggestions for you guys to stay connected with your students over the break. And so Christmas, for many of us, including our students, can be a time where the weight of our struggles feels heavier than normal, or our loneliness is magnified. And so these three suggestions that I have for you are just some ways that you can make sure that your students feel connected and don't feel alone during this break. And so the first suggestion I have for you to stay connected to your students is to text them. Text them as they're going into finals and encourage them. Text them and wish them a Merry Christmas. Ask them to share their favorite Christmas gift or to share a photo with the group. You can text them and acknowledge that Christmas is a difficult time for many people, and ask them how you can be praying for them over the break. You can text them scripture and encourage them to be in the Word. You can text them Happy New Year and keep them up to date on our upcoming Fathom events and when we come back to groups January 13th. And so texting is just a simple way to make your students feel connected. Now, the second suggestion I have requires more effort on your part, and that is to meet up with your students. And I know there's downtime over Christmas break, and so just encouraging you guys to meet up with your students. Maybe you meet for breakfast or lunch, or you set up a time and you meet with your students to go grab yogurt or coffee or something. And I know that coordinating 15 schedules can be difficult. And so my suggestion to you is pick a time that works for you. Pick a time, a day, and a location, and just throw it out there to your group and see who shows up. But you will get a huge return on your investment when you spend time with your students. And believe it or not, teenagers do want to hang out with you. And the third suggestion I have for you does require the most effort, and that is to serve with your students. One of the cool things you can do is go to Manna House with your group. Manna House is open Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 4 to 6:30 p.m. You don't have to call and reserve a time. You can just show up and serve. And Fran at Manna House is always welcoming to our groups. And so you can just show up and she will plug you in to serve. You can serve at 305 8th Street. You would need to reach out to Andrea Williams there, and you can look up 305 on the website, and they'll give you the contact information, or I can help you with that as well. But you can go and you could take goodie bags to the residents, or you could go with your group and hang out and play games with them. Another suggestion for serving is to go to a nursing home and take your students and go and hang out with the residents there and just spend time with them. And so those are some suggestions of ways that you can serve and be creative. But serving with your students creates powerful bonds. And so those are some suggestions of ways that you can stay connected. If you do go the route of serving with your students, I can help you with the permission slip form. Just reach out to me and I will coordinate that with you. But you have three ways. You can text, you can set up a time to meet with your students, and you can serve with your students. And the idea is that they feel connected and they know that we're invested in them even during this break from Fathom groups. And so we're praying for you guys during this time. We're praying that you have rest. that you get recharged to come back in 2019 and serve with us again. We're so thankful for all 70 of you and your partnership with us. So Merry Christmas, and we'll see you guys back on January 6th for leader training from 5 to 8 p.m. Merry Christmas.